biggest bad guy character in professional wrestling.
When's the last time you got laid?
French Toast is the exchange student that you have like a 3-week affair with.
Like, we can see that you don't have pants on.
Can we tell the truth about Dusty sooner or later?
Bro,
like-
less people wanted that than are currently watching our
Hey,
streams.
bro. And you know Vince, and you still think, are these true? It's like...
Welcome to the Mark It Down podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Mark It Down podcast. It is Friday night. I am exhausted. I've had to watch 2 wrestling programs. You got that right. Friday Night Smackdown and TNA Victory Road. This video will be all about Friday Night Smackdown as WWE has moved the blue brand to USA. That's right. This is the season premiere of WWE Smackdown, and it is on the USA Network. Quite the change. WWE has been on Fox for the last 5 years with SmackDown, and as we're seeing this year, there's going to be a lot of change. WWE is moving NXT to the CW. SmackDown is moving to the USA Network, and Monday Night Raw will be moving to Netflix in the new year. Now, after this video, be ready for more, because I will be covering TNA Victory Road right after this. Yes, was I watching both shows simultaneously? Yes. Am I crazy? Probably. But we're going to make it work because we cover all wrestling here at the Mark It Down podcast. You guys know the deal. I'm James Gisanti. I always say watch wrestling, and I mean it. I do. I watch wrestling just the way I want you guys to watch wrestling. I watch everything. So my brain might be a little fried, but it is not fried because of the show's content. The quality of tonight was absolutely amazing. That's on both shows. But like I said, we're focusing on SmackDown right now, where we kick things off with the man who main evented the very first SmackDown 25 years ago. Oof, that's pain to think about. But Triple H, the CCO of WWE, in the ring to bring in this new era of SmackDown. He talks about how he main evented that first SmackDown with The Rock. Monumental event, and he wants a monumental event to start tonight's show. That's why we're starting with the WWE Universal Championship match in the cage as Cody Rhodes defends against the wannabe tribal chief Solo Sikoa. Guys, this was a fun match. Both men, I got to give it to them. They utilized that cage. They made the most of the cage scenario, and I know a lot of people are always kind of iffy on cage matches just because what new stuff can we see at this point? I don't know if we saw anything new, but we definitely saw some good stuff in this match. Right out the gate, both men take turns throwing each other into the steel. The walls were definitely being used tonight as we just saw steel versus flesh. And as good old JR would tell you, steel is always going to win. I do want to say thank you to everybody who's with us right now. We got a good influx of people across all platforms. Sorry to interrupt. I'm dealing with everything by myself tonight because despite this being a 10-man pod, this is apparently a one-man show. No producer boy with me tonight either, so I'm sorry. You guys know the deal. I got to deal with all social media by myself, but we make it work here. So if you see me stuttering, if you see me paying attention, something off screen, no, it's because I'm dealing with somebody on a different platform, because we are all over tonight. We are on YouTube. We are on X. We are on Facebook. We are on Instagram, which we will be in a second. That is my bad, guys. If you're just tuning in late now from Instagram, I got to deal with that too. But thank you, no matter where you're watching me from, no matter where you're checking out the Mark It Down podcast. And you know the deal. If you're new here, thank you for checking us out. If you're a regular, say hello. It makes me know that we're friends. And I need friends right now. It's an emotional time. But thank you no matter where you are, no matter who you are. And let's get to it. Cody Solo gained the advantage early and hangs Cody in the tree of woe. He gets him the first time with a flying running headbutt, but he misses the second time as Cody evades it. Cody then attempts to climb out of the cage, but gets dropped by Solo. At this point, though, Cody is busted open, and Solo continues to assault Cody by throwing him into the cage. Cody rallies, but is once again bounced off the cage wall. Solo repeatedly headbutted a downed and bloody Cody, and while Cody tried to build momentum and attempted a disaster kick, he was caught by Solo in a powerbomb position and was then repeatedly powerbombed into the steel cage wall. After a bit of a pause, Solo attempts another powerbomb into the wall, but Cody evades it and hits an absolutely massive Cody cutter off of the cage wall. It was quite the sight to see. Cody again attempts to leave the cage, but is again dragged down by Solo. Solo then attempts to scale the cage wall, but Cody climbs up after him, and both men are battling at the top of the cage. Cody gained the initial upper hand after driving Solo's head into the cage, but Solo perseveres and hits a huge suplex off the top of it, but is only able to get a 2 count after taking too long to go for the pin. I can't really blame him, though. Nobody wins after a big suplex off the top of the cage. Solo may have come out on top, but I'm sure that had to hurt the old back. Solo then attempted to walk out of the cage through the cage door, but Cody refused to let him go, gnawing on his ankle like a little chihuahua. Solo then hits 2 gigantic Uranages back to back, but fails to keep Cody down for the 3 count. Solo then goes for a Samoan spike, but Cody is able to dodge it and hit a disaster kick into another Cody cutter. Cody then attempts the crossroads, but Solo is able to counter that and backs Cody into the corner, leading into a brutal hip attack into the head. Solo then lifts Cody up into a high Samoan drop, and then he rushes to the top of the cage, goes for a big splash onto Cody, which he hits, but Cody is unable to get the 3 count on Cody as he kicks out at 2. Solo then puts Cody in the corner and goes for another hip attack, but Cody tried, after getting hit, the door opens and Cody tries escaping through the door. Solo frantically goes after him, catching him, but Cody springs into action and hits a crossroads, only for a 2 count, though. Cody then climbs the cage and gets to the top, and instead of climbing out, dives off the cage and hits a huge crossbody, but is again only able to get a 2 count. Lots of big 2 counts here. Cody crawls to the cage door and attempts to leave, but Solo rises and slams the door shut on Cody's head. Solo then attempts to put Cody down once again with another Samoan spike, but Cody catches him, hits him with the crossroads, only 1, but it is enough to get the 1, 2, 3, and Cody Rhodes is still your WWE Universal Champion. I thought this was a fun match, guys. I know, like I said, cage matches aren't really for everybody. That's fine. I know we've seen a lot of the good stuff. I think most often we see that cage matches, the big issue is they don't really justify their existence. It didn't need to be a cage match. But I will say, in this instance, these 2 men utilized the cage to the utmost degree. They made it worth being a cage match. Granted, I guess the thinking behind it was that it needed to be a cage match to keep the bloodline at bay, but they never came out during the matchup. It was a weird instance of maybe it would have been good to see them trying to interfere, but that wasn't the case, and Cody beat Solo Sikoa clean. This time now, I believe that puts him up 2-0 against the would-be tribal chief. That was for Instagram. I apologize, guys. But speaking of the bloodline, after the match, Cody is celebrating all too briefly as all the remaining members of the bloodline, Tama Tonga, Tonga Loa, and Jacob Fatu surround the cage and then climb the cage walls and get into the ring and start a beatdown initiated by Solo Sikoa, who finally lands that Samoan spike onto Cody. After planting Cody on the ground, Jacob Fatu hits his springboard moonsault and then is ordered by his tribal chief, Solo Sikoa, to climb to the top of the cage and hit a massive splash on Cody. But before Jacob can do so, the OTC himself, Roman Reigns, makes his return to Smackdown. walks his way to the ring, climbs into the cage, and then shuts the door behind him. He then takes the opportunity to let up some pent-up frustration, a lot of aggression on to this new bloodline, taking out Tama Tonga, Tonga Loa, and even Jacob Fatu briefly. As he is about to take out Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu drags Solo out of the ring through the cage. As the two men are standing, Roman calls Jacob back into the ring. I thought this was a fun spot. The Samoan Wolverine versus the actual, the true, the original tribal chief. Jacob accepts the challenge, walks into the ring, and before the fight can get going, Solo pulls him out of the ring at this point. Now Roman is alone in the ring with the Gorillas of Destiny, who attack him from behind. As they're trying to get the assault going, the Universal Champion, Cody Rhodes, gets back up, hits a crossroads, allowing Roman to hit a spear, and the former Universal Champion and the current Universal Champion are standing side by side in the cage. Would be allies, very conflicted, and they are staring down Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa as Jacob puts the fala on around Solo's neck. Epic way to start the show. I think this whole segment went around 40 minutes, which was just absolute madness. I don't think there were any commercial breaks, which was the right way to start this show, right way to start the USA era of Smackdown. So yeah, we had a great main event to start the show. We had the return of Roman Reigns. We continued to tease the Roman Reigns Jacob Fatu match that basically everybody wants. You got to feel bad for Solo in this situation. Everybody has their opinions on Solo. I like Solo, I do, but it's hard to be excited for Solo when Jacob Fatu is standing right behind him. So everybody did shine here. Even Tonga Loa was able to get his spot in as he dropped Cody, setting up for Jacob Fatu to hit the springboard moonsault. But man, good way to start the show. Way to get the energy high right out the gate, and way to basically get through half of your show with one segment and one match. Good job, WWE. Moving on, after we come back from a very long commercial break, which I understand. Like I said, we went around 40 minutes without any commercial breaks. I understand they needed to catch up. Sorry, guys, just dealing with Instagram right now because, again, I am by myself and I can only do so much by myself. I am an island, but I'm your island. We come back and we have our first Nick Aldis backstage segment of the night as he is joined by Kathy Kelly. Nick reveals that he was approached by Solo Sikoa with a proposition that he said is almost too good to pass up, and it's something he needs to present to Roman Reigns and to Cody Rhodes later. So what will that be? We'll find out. But we then move forward to our second match of the night, and this was a quick one. Kind of disappointingly quick, but they did get their spots in as Piper Niven, who was joined by Chelsea Green, or I'm so sorry, I don't get to do this because I don't really cover SmackDown. Chelsea Green! I hated that, and I'm sorry. I'm genuinely sorry, guys. That was rough. Took on Michin. Right out the gate, everything you could tell was moving fast. Both women trade blows and then kind of just go to the outside really quickly. Michin had to deal with Chelsea Green and then spent a weirdly long amount of time looking for a kendo stick on the outside underneath the ring. Finally gets one and then just wails on Chelsea Green. This allows Piper Niven to hit a running cannonball from the apron to the outside onto Michin. It kind of looked like that was going to be the end. She sets up Michin in the ring, but Michin is able to bounce back, hit a move off the top rope, and then hits her finisher, the Eat Defeat, and gets the 1-2-3 on Piper Niven. She doesn't have time to celebrate as the recurring theme of people getting involved after matches continues tonight as Chelsea Green then attacks Michin from behind. Both women then bring in a garbage can. Piper Niven holds Michin in place as Chelsea Green then sets up the Unprettier and hits a pretty gnarly Unprettier onto the garbage can, really wrecking the ribs of Michin. So I assume that will be a feud that continues. Good to see women's feuds that aren't just for the title, so that's fine by me. We then go to another commercial break, and when we come back, we get into a tag team match that is kind of only half made, as A-Town Down is scheduled to take on Kevin Owens and a mystery partner of Kevin's choosing. We all kind of wanted it to be somebody. We were all kind of expecting it to be somebody, but it wasn't who it was. Instead was a very hairy young man, everywhere but his head, named Ricky. Just Ricky. Do any of you guys in the internet world know who Ricky is? I don't. I've never seen Ricky before, but boy, was he eager to be in this matchup. Kevin wasn't too thrilled, but he was just happy to have a partner at all. But as the bell is about to ring, a WWE hand, a producer person, or whoever, eagerly rushes to Kevin and tells him that he's here. The match could go the other way. And Kevin is super excited. He says his partner did make it. He then says sorry to Ricky before giving him a stunner. And then out comes the Viper, Randy Orton. Randy Orton making his grand return to SmackDown after a brief excursion to the Red Brand, to Raw, where he challenged Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship. Kevin Owens, happy to have his best mate back, as commentary described it, his best mate and Randy Orton. And now we have our proper match of Kevin Owens and Randy Orton versus Austin Theory and Grayson Waller. The match itself was fine. There was some nice spots, especially towards the end, as we saw this developing tag team of Kevin Owens and Randy Orton. They definitely, I'm jiving with this team a lot more than I thought I would have in the beginning. I don't know how long it will be for this world, because you have the two men who are most known for betraying their partners teaming up. But hey, maybe that's why they love each other. But it was cool to see Kevin emulating some of Randy's bits, with the finish coming as both men hit Randy's draping DDT off the rope, you know, that hanging DDT that he hits. Both men hitting it on their respective opponents, and then both of them doing that sort of Randy Orton like arm stomp where he's just pounding the mat ready for the RKO, as Kevin hits his gigantic stunner that Austin Theory sells so well, selling it like Scott Hall would be proud, and Randy hitting the RKO on Waller and getting the pin, the 1-2-3 on Waller. I thought that was an interesting bit. I mean, far be it from me to tell them how to book, but I was expecting a pin onto Theory just to continue the growing tension between the team. But alas, it was Waller who took the pin, and Randy Orton makes his grand return to SmackDown. I wonder if a tag team title shot is in their future. Them versus the Bloodline just does kind of seem right, considering it just seems to be their favorite hobby to attack those Samoans. But let's see. The Guerrillas of Destiny are definitely going to need top-line opponents. Randy Orton and Kevin Owens both definitely need something to do. I'm kind of for it. I'm not saying I want them to win. I'm not saying I want them to be tag team champions, but it could be a good filler feud, or it could be a good pay-per-view build, especially as we're definitely building our way closer and closer to Survivor Series. So let's see. What do I know? We then go backstage, as we have our next Nick Aldis segment, where he reveals what the proposition Solo Sikoa made. And that was for Bad Blood, a tag team match between Solo and Jacob taking on Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns. It's at this point Cody comes into Nick's office, interrupts him, and says, Nick, I meant what I said out there. I am done with the Bloodline. I don't want anything to do with them anymore. They are Roman Reigns' problem now. Not very babyface of you. Just saying, Cody. Not very babyface of you, pal. It's okay. It's okay, American Nightmare. I mean, granted, I don't know how much longer we're going to be able to call Cody the American Nightmare, but for the time being, he still is. So I'm going to use that nickname. But we'll see. We'll see if they're teasing something darker for Cody Rhodes. A Cody Rhodes who may be slightly resentful of the fact the WWE audience is so eager to take Roman Reigns back. But moving on, going to another Samoan. Wow, this show is dominated. We have Nia Jax in the ring saying that she has been told by Nick Aldis that she will be defending her women's championship at Bad Blood. She questions, though, who that will be to challenge her, as she's faced everyone. She's already had 3 successful defenses, 3 successful feuds, taking on Michin, Naomi, and Bayley. So whoever wants to stand up to the queen of the ring, she's ready. This brings out Bayley, who, ding dong, hello, idiot, to Nia Jax. They trade barbs back and forth, Nia saying how Bayley needed help last year from damage control, and she doesn't have that with her now. And Bayley admitting that Nia's definitely had the best year of her career, although admittedly, that's not really a high bar considering the rest of Nia's career. I thought that was a pretty good burn. I was a little disappointed in the Smackdown audience for not being more pro Bayley here, but it is what it is, I guess. I'll forever love our favorite hugger, but fickle WWE audience. As this confrontation is going on, it's Tiffy time, as Tiffany Stratton makes her way down to the ring with the Money in the Bank briefcase, and she sides with her gal pal Nia Jax, the women's champion, against Bayley. Again, she throws some shots at Bayley, who reminds Tiffany that she beat Tiffany last week, the youngest Money in the Bank winner of all time, as Tiffany made sure we all remembered. As this 2-on-1 confrontation continues, Bayley is met with her friend Naomi, who says it's been a long time since she's won a championship here in WWE, and it's time for her to change that. She too challenges Nia Jax for Bad Blood, and instead of maybe getting that triple threat that would have been fun, Nia counters with a tag team match for next week on SmackDown, where if Naomi and Bayley side wins, whoever gets the pin gets to challenge Nia Jax at Bad Blood. But if Nia and Tiffy's team win and they beat Bayley and Naomi, whoever gets pinned has to leave SmackDown forever. That feels dramatic. Kind of crazy if you ask me. What do I know? But hey, if I'm Nia Jax, it's just one less person to annoy me, I guess, right? Whatever. The women agree, and the tag team match is set for next week. So, more Samoan domination on the blue brand. We now move to our final match of the night, as Carmelo Hayes takes on Andrade in this 5th match in their series. Both men 2 wins apiece, as they are trying to vie for the attention of the United States champion, LA Knight. Yeah. Right out the gate, bell to bell, there was action. These 2 men knowing each other at this point so well. Carmelo Hayes attacking Andrade as soon as the bell rings, not giving any time to recuperate, or not recuperate, but get ready for action. These guys were doing everything they could. High flying maneuvers, quick back and forth between both men. For a few minutes, Hayes was controlling the pace. Andrade kept trying to make a comeback, but Hayes was basically in control for most of this. There was a good spot on the outside, which admittedly, my brain still can't really process what the point was, but both men fighting on the barricade and then both hitting like a moonsault to one another. Like, it looked like a reverse Spanish fly, but I don't know who really hit it. I think Andrade hit it onto Carmelo, I think. But it was just a weird spot that, quite frankly, didn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but did look awesome. So, what do I know? Regardless, as the action gets back into the ring, Andrade hits his spinning neckbreaker from the middle rope to get the win onto Carmelo Hayes and win this series 3-2. This brings out LA Knight, who I guess officially accepts and officially challenges Andrade for the U.S. title. I guess not challenging him for the U.S. title, but grants him a U.S. title match. The match itself, like I said, was pretty fun. This was a fun mid-card feud. Granted, there were title implications with the U.S. title match being offered, I guess, to the winner. But this was just a feud between two guys who wanted to show who was better of the two. I'm never going to say no to that. I'm never going to be against that. It's a great way to endear wrestlers to the crowd. I know the modern audience isn't always thrilled with best of series. We've seen that backfire a little bit in AEW. We've seen it be met with resistance sometimes in WWE. But I think this was a good series. Granted, if I am Andrade, I don't really know if I feel like I'm in a better spot now than I was when I was in AEW. I know we all joke about the grass being greener on the other side, no matter what side you're on, but I don't think he's doing any more here than he was when he was in AEW. Granted, maybe he does win the U.S. title off of LA Knight. I don't think he does. I think LA retains because, quite frankly, this title reign has been all right. Like, nothing against LA Knight. I love LA Knight. The guy is obviously super, super over, and he deserves a good reign, but I can't really tell you anything super memorable that's come out of it since he's won the title. So I hope at the very least they could pad it out a little bit longer with some more successful title defenses. We then go backstage as we have Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill, the new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions. I think it was a weird move. I think it was a weird move to take the titles off of them in the first place. I was happy for Isla Dawn and the other, not Isla Dawn. My bad, guys. But quite frankly, I thought they took the titles off of them prematurely. I felt it was just a way to say they're not some undefeated team who's going to beat them, but it derailed so much momentum for these women. Regardless, they are eager to go to prove that they are obviously the EST of the tag team division. Eventually, though, they are confronted by Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton. Nia Jax reminds them that she beat both of those women in the Queen of the Ring tournament that helped her get to the WWE Women's Championship. She reminds them that they may be the tag team champions, but this is her kingdom. And that's that. I wonder if Nia loses that title soon, that leads to a tag team title run with her and Tiffany, or Miss Money in the Bank and the women's champion winning the tag team titles, and then there might be a switch with that Money in the Bank. I think that could be a fun angle. I think that could be a fun storyline if they want to pull that through. Granted, I'm not thrilled at the notion of Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill losing those tag titles anytime soon again, but it would lead to a very fun dynamic. And I don't think we've ever seen it before. We've seen enemies obviously win the tag titles before, but I don't think we've ever seen it with the Money in the Bank at play. If we have, let me know in the comments. But yeah, we have one segment left for SmackDown, and then I got to get ready to set up for TNA, guys. But we have the return of Roman Reigns in a WWE ring and with a microphone in hand. Nick Aldis, the general manager, is already in the ring. He tries telling Roman that he knows tonight was a chaotic night, and he knows that he and Roman have their own complicated history. Roman doesn't want to hear it, though. He puts his hand out, and Nick puts the contract in his hand. Roman says that's not... Roman, without saying anything, says that's not what he meant, and he puts his hand out again, and he gets the mic. It's at this point that he says, yeah, a lot of things change, but some things never do. We got Nas in the comments. What up, Nas? Thank you for being here, brother. I hope you're doing well. Can't wait to see you soon. I think I'm going to see you Tuesday, hopefully. I think we got a big screening on Tuesday, so I'll hopefully see you there. But Roman Reigns says, some things may change here in the WWE, but he's not one of them. He's not just the original tribal chief. He is the only tribal chief. I thought that was a great line. He says he doesn't need a contract. He doesn't need Cody Rhodes. He doesn't need anything. This is a bloodline issue. This is a family issue. And he is ready to bring the fight to the bloodline. As he's going through his spiel, Cody Rhodes comes out. He also says, and this is important, he also says that this is still his WWE. This brings out Cody Rhodes, and he says, it's not your WWE anymore, and it hasn't been since WrestleMania. As the men are staring each other down, this brings out Solo Sikoa with Jacob Fatu. They're walking their way down the ramp, and as they get to the bottom, stare Roman and Cody down. Roman and Cody are ambushed by the Gorillas of Destiny, the tag team champions. Roman and Cody are able to fight them off, and then as they're recovering, Roman reluctantly signs the contract and hands it over to Cody Rhodes. Cody also signs the contract, and now we have our match for Bad Blood as Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes will take on this new bloodline of Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa. Interesting stuff as we get forward. I know a lot of us are expecting, a lot of us are waiting for the reuniting of the original bloodline. We're waiting for the return. I never thought I'd say it, but we're waiting for the return of Jimmy Uso. We're waiting to see Jey Uso get brought back into the fold. Hell, we're even still waiting for Sami Zayn to get brought back into things. But it seems like we are going to be taking a detour with Roman and Cody. It's interesting because I don't think we're going to see the Universal Champion take a pin. I don't think we're going to see a returning Roman Reigns take a pin. But if Roman and Cody are enough to take out this new bloodline, why do we need the Usos? Why do we need Sami Zayn? It's a very interesting place that they've booked themselves into, a very precarious place that they've booked themselves into. But as we've seen, there has been a lot of care and a lot of thought put into all things bloodline, all things Roman Reigns. So we should all have some patience and we should all have some faith. They've earned it. But guys, thank you so much for joining me here tonight on the Mark It Down podcast as we covered Friday Night Smackdown as they've moved to the USA Network. A lot of fun stuff happened. We had an epic World Championship match, Universal Championship match in the cage as as Cody took on Solo Sikoa. We had the SmackDown return of Roman Reigns, and now we may have a two-man power trip on our hands as we have Roman Reigns teaming up with Cody Rhodes at Bad Blood. If you enjoyed tonight's episode of SmackDown, let us know in the comments. I want to know. I really do. I don't want to be the only one liking stuff. But you guys know the deal. I said it at the beginning of the show, and I'll say it again here. Thank you so much for checking us out here at the Mark It Down podcast. We are officially over 1,000 subscribers, which is mind-boggling to me. If you're a returning viewer, thank you so much. The family, we appreciate it. We're not a bloodline here, but, you know, Mark's got to stick together. So thank you for staying with us. If you're a new viewer and you liked what you saw, hit that like button. Lets us know that we're doing something right. And if you're an old subscriber, you could also hit that like button. But if you are new and you're just checking us out for the first time, I hope you liked what you saw. We would really appreciate it if you hit that sub button. That way you can join the party as we cover all wrestling here at the Mark It Down podcast. Not just WWE, but AEW, and as I'm about to do in a few minutes, TNA. Like I said at the beginning, we're all over social media. We are on Facebook, we are on X, we are on TikTok, we are on Instagram. If there is another social media, we're on it. So go check us out there. Matt's having a lot of fun. Could he be anymore? Oh no, that's Friends. I did Friends when I meant to do Seinfeld. Guys, I'm tired. It's Friday night, and I'm here talking with you. And granted, I wouldn't want to be anywhere else, but I am tired. So thank you so much. My name is James Gisanti. This is the Mark It Down podcast, and this is Friday Night Smackdown. I'll see you in a few minutes if you love me. If you don't, I will only cry a little bit. Have a good night.